Welcome back to your outlet for outdoors and Western lifestyle, The Ben Show. I am your host, Rebecca Wanner, and riding along shotgun, my co-host, Jeff Tigger Erhardt, who deserves a big congratulations. He harvested a beautiful 6x6 muley on opening weekend, and congratulations.
Thanks, dear.
It was pretty exciting, and I gotta say, I was not a good co-pilot.
You were sleeping in the truck.
Yes, but it wasn't my fault. I had an allergic reaction on my face.
No,
and
she did, y'all.
they had to give me Benadryl.
Yeah, we were at, I don't know, about 3:30, kind of getting ready for sundown, and I gave you some Benadryl. You were having an allergic reaction. You were sitting in the truck. I said, is it okay if I go sneak over this hill by this thicket? And apparently you fell asleep.
I did. So I was no use in Meal to scout or be a spotter for him, but I was happy when I awoke to one shot. And believe me, I sat up quick.
And there was a pile of deer that were in front of you that were about 100 yards in front of you that I was watching from the side, and you didn't even know they were there.
I had no idea.
There's a little 4x4 buck, and there was 4 does with him.
I was having a great nap.
And
that's what was happening.
Yeah, that's what happens sometimes.
But it was exciting when I did, take my binoculars, look over to where Tigger was supposed to be sitting, and there he is giving me the thumbs up. There's something about that rush and excitement, and congratulations again. He harvested a beautiful 6x6 muley that was dark, heavy racked, gorgeous.
Well, now here's the wait is we took this deer and we're going to get him mounted, and I'm excited to get him back. But unfortunately, we're going to have to wait about a year. And that's actually not too bad when you figure, a lot of these taxidermists, they are a year out.
That's usually, I would say, more on the average. A year to a year and a half is kind of the norm in my mind.
So we went to Jake Faehnrich with JB's Wildlife Design. Check him out on Facebook, by the way. His work is absolutely beautiful where we're at. And we were looking around and we saw some of these deer that were coming in, and we saw some do's and don'ts when it comes to getting your deer ready to go to the taxidermist. I had a little conversation with Jake. Do's and don'ts of where to shoot and not to shoot.
Do shoot behind the shoulder or on the shoulder. That's fine. Do not shoot them in the neck, in the head.
And you've seen this, right?
Oh, yes. Too many times. Don't take a knife blade and start cutting to do your final approach to them. If you're going to cut something, go with the hair, go under the hair, get under the skin. Do not cut the hair.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about skinning here, because I know some people, if they're brand new, that can be a little intimidating of don't even know where to begin. So somebody that doesn't know where to begin, I know you're going to say, okay, find a seasoned hunter. Anybody, all of us will help out, something like that. But when you really kind of don't know the processes or how to keep a hide chilled or something like that, some of those just little tips to help somebody out.
The biggest thing, too, is get it to us within 24 hours. You don't want your hide going bad. If you have questions or you're not comfortable, you can come to us. We will help you out. We'll get it taken care of.
What if you can't get it in 24 hours? Freezer?
Yep. Get it in a freezer. Do not leave it outside. If you leave it outside, that will dry out your skin. If you get into a freezer, it keeps the moisture in it, and that will preserve it for as long as you need to, essentially.
So you've been at this game for 8 years now. What has been the worst case that you have ever seen where somebody brought something in and you had to perform miracles on this? What has been the worst? I mean, other than the one that we just looked at, but worst case where you went, oh, wow, how am I even going to be able to work magic on this guy?
So I've had a couple, they were both last year, that they made their cuts on the front of the neck all the way up the head. I've also seen some where they cut them on the outside of the shoulders. Don't do that. If you're going to cut down the back of the head, down to the tailbone. Leave everything on the top, on the back. Do not go on the front where you're going to be viewing your mount.
So do you have any kind of rules of thumb when it comes to deciding, should I do a mount? Should I do a European mount? Do you have any kind of rules of thumb? Or honestly, with doing this, it really just comes down to a customer of what kind of memory do they want to have of this?
I've done deer as big and as small as you can imagine. Some of the smallest deer are my favorite ones to do because their appreciation the story they have, everything, it means something. Do not look and compare to what other people have, because what they felt with theirs compared to what you felt with yours is completely different.
So is that important, the story? Not just us coming in here and bragging. You and I were talking about this earlier of how your business is kind of like, I compared it to a saddle shop or a gun shop or a fishing shop or maybe your local watering hole. People just come in, they want to visit. But that's actually part of it too, is hearing the story. Because like with us, for example, you're going to try to recreate even a little bit of the terrain that this particular deer was in. But that's part of it, is actually having somebody explain the story, because that, in a way, might dictate what type of memory you're going to create for them, right?
Right. Yep. You can do anything with these. And when I hear the stories, I really do enjoy hearing them, because it helps me get you exactly what you experienced in that moment. You know, some deer are out there rutting, they're chasing does, they're lip curling. We can do that. If you were in some nasty, nasty country, you know, out in the Badlands, we can recreate that with a cool habitat that matches where you were. It's all what you experienced. If you had a big old buck looking straight at you with the ears forward, that's what you want. That's what you're going to get. That's what's going to make you remember that experience the way that it should be.
Again, that was Jake Faehnrich with JB's Wildlife Designs. Now, I know there's a lot of people that are saying, oh, come on, we know this. But there are a lot of people that don't know this. And we've been hearing more and more and seeing more and more stories this year. For some reason, maybe it's just because I'm paying attention to it, it seems there's a lot of people that have harvested their first deer ever. So there's a lot of people that don't know what they don't know, I guess.
And you know what? I would agree with that. And there are those that have been maybe hunting for a while, but now finally took that trophy mount. They have never wanted to have one mounted, and they find out, oops, I caped it out wrong. You didn't give them enough cape. That's another big error where people go and mess up.
And I think it's a great idea to have somebody with you that is experienced. 99.9% of the time, any one of those males or females will be more than happy to help anybody out and say, this is what you do. This is how you field dress them. This is how you skin the deer. We even got some pointers from your brother that I didn't even see before. And I went, that is a neat idea.
I got to admit, I've done so with deer many, many a times, from the gutting to the caping. And I learned something too, because a friend was with us when we were doing yours, and he showed me this method so you don't cut your finger. And I went, whoa, I had never thought about doing that.
Great idea.
There's always something to be learned, absolutely. But one more time, congratulations again, Tigger, on that beautiful muley. And by the way, I'm also just as excited and proud of him, because it was a one-shot double lung. He took him out, which is terrific. Didn't mess up any of the meat. And we harvested over 50 pounds of venison off of this beautiful muley buck.
Not a bad one at all.
Not at
a bad
all.
one. We'll let y'all know how the jerky turns out.
All right, crew, we have more of The Ben Show right after this.